as a creator, you already are using your intuition. You just don't realize that that's what you're doing.
I'm Terry Shepard. Lisa Kessler is a best-selling author of dark paranormal fiction. She's a 2-time San Diego Book Award winner for Best Published Fantasy, Sci-Fi Horror, and Best Published Romance. Her books have also won the Prism Award, the Award of Excellence, the National Excellence in Romantic Fiction Award, the Award of Merit from the Holt Medallion, and an International Digital Award for Best Paranormal. Her October 2021 release is Book 8 in her hit series, the Sedona Pack, Sedona Sanctuary, a Southwestern paranormal romance with shifters, psychics, and secrets. And Book 9 in the series is already in the queue for release in February of 2022. In a world where many of us struggle to deliver a book a year, Lisa Kessler is a production machine. She's published 40 books and numerous award-winning short stories since she took up the craft in 2010. When she's not writing, Lisa is a professional vocalist and has performed with the San Diego Opera as well as other musical theater companies in the San Diego area. She also has her own paranormal gifts and offers her tarot card observations to dozens of clients around the world. And that's what we're going to do tonight. I'll give Lisa my intention for 2022, and we'll see what the cards say. Lisa Kessler, thank you for taking us into your world tonight.
You're welcome.
You know, every author wonders what the new year will bring, so my intentional question is this: will I find success as an author in 2022?
So what happens when I'm doing a reading for somebody in person, they feel the cards and draw. But when I'm doing them over Zoom, I'm going to turn this and hopefully you can see. So I have this pendulum and it just circles, but when I move it over the cards, when it finds the one it wants, do you see how the swing changes? So it switches from a circle to a back and forth. And that way I know that's the card that Spirit wants you to have. And so that's how we do it. That way I'm not accidentally drawing cards that were meant for me. My energy is not on it. First up is the Chariot. Tarot is split into two. So minor arcana is aspects of you and major arcana is events that are upcoming. So the Chariot is major arcana. This is an event that's coming up in 2022 for you, and it's movement. So the Chariot is always about that you are changing homes, changing jobs, you're moving somewhere, but we were drawing with the intention of your writing career in 2022. So this is a very good omen that that's your first card, is that you're moving. So this could be that you're moving up the Amazon ranks. It could also be that you're moving genres around. Which is also a possibility. I don't know what kind of things you've been thinking of for next year, but you might have a book idea that is not quite in your thriller genre, that's pushing you a little bit in another direction. So take this as a validation that that's a really good idea for you to do that. The nice thing about the Chariot card is you'll notice there's birds at the top and the bottom. And in tarot, birds represent your spirit guides and your guardian angels. And so the Chariot is always that, watch for the signs. They're going to be sending them to you to get you to the right destination.
So I have a spirit guide?
Yes, you do. Everyone does. Yeah. From birth, you have a team, a spiritual team around you, and they can change over time, but generally everybody has, one main spirit guide that's with them, and it could be an ancestor, could be somebody you've just gone around with a few times and you guys take turns being the guide and the person. But yeah, everybody does, and you've probably interacted with them and not even known it. You don't have to be like, some kind of open a door in your mind to be psychic. It's basically what you feel in your gut. Those gut feelings, those are typically your spirit guides and your angels going, hey, don't go down that alleyway. But then as we grow up, quickly talk ourselves out of all of those gut feelings. No, it's fine. It's all in my head. But usually that initial gut feeling, that's your intuition and your guides trying to send you signs and a feather or a penny where it shouldn't be. And you quickly tell yourself, well, somebody just dropped it, instead of, I was meant to find that. So yeah, you do have a spirit guide. You just don't know him.
You told me earlier that your spirit guide's name is Morgan. How did you find out that spirit's name?
That's a great question. So I was in a spiritual circle, like a psychic circle, for years, learning things. And every week we would meet up and we would do a meditation. And when you meditate and you quiet your brain, it's a really good time for you to figure out, because at that point I didn't know I had any spirit guides. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But basically you find a peaceful place in your meditation, and then when your mind is quiet, you can ask. Eventually I did get a pendulum that I said, okay, this is going to be for Morgan. And I have a pendulum board, and I asked her if she would give me the first letter of her name. And as soon as I got M, I knew it was Morgan. And by that point, I'd been doing it long enough that you learn to trust your gut, not question it. And so I just knew.
Lisa Kessler is our guest. She's given me a tarot reading with answers to my intention question: will I be successful in 2022? What does the next card tell us?
All right, here we go. Next one is the Queen of Swords. So this is minor arcana, so this is aspects of you. And there is a queen and a king in every suit of the minor arcana, and it's basically your masculine and your feminine energy. Everyone has both. And so when you get this queen card, you can see she has this giant sword, but she's all dressed in black on her throne, all alone. Sword is the element of air, which represents our thoughts. So they're real in your head, but they're not necessarily out in the world. I like to think of it as we need air to breathe, but we can't touch it. Your thoughts are just like that. So that's what the swords are all about. And because it's your female energy and we were drawing with the intention of your writing, this is you being alone with your thoughts and nurturing an idea. And the thing about, though, the Queen card is the reason she doesn't look very happy is because she's doing it all alone. So it could be that you're living in your head a little bit too much about what you're going to do in 2022. And this card is nudging you to bounce ideas off other people. You don't have to do it, all alone up there in your head.
That's wise advice anyway. When we're stuck in our own heads, we tend to play out the worst case scenarios and don't always have the puzzle pieces we need to make good decisions. So I'm writing that one down. Seek the wisdom of trusted advisors. Okay, right. What's next?
Next up, the Knight of Cups. So this is, again, aspect of you. I love that you can see my little skull and crossbones for Halloween. Anyway, so Cups is the element of water, and water represents our emotions. So we've had our thoughts, and here's our emotions. And the Knight rushes in where others fear to tread and tends to rush in without a plan. They follow their heart and take off. So you can see that this Knight is on the horse, and there's no bridle and no reins. So he doesn't know where he's going, but he's getting there fast. So since we were pulling with the intention of your writing, be sure that you make a plan for 2022 and that you don't just chase every idea that you love. Okay, make an actual plan, because I feel like you're going to have a lot of great ideas that you love in your heart. They're great. And this card is telling you that they probably are great, but if you don't have a plan, you're not going to follow through.
Always have a plan.
Does that make sense?
Totally. Lisa Kessler is our guest, a prolific author, an opera singer, and an enthusiast of the metaphysical. Her website is authorlisakessler.com. Lisa is giving me a tarot reading for 2022, and we're ready for the next card.
Okay. Next up, more swords for you. 5 of Swords. So the minor arcana goes in a cycle from ace to 10 in each element. So air is your thoughts. And the 5 is halfway through the cycle. So from new idea to completed idea, the 5 is right in the middle. And swords, because there are thoughts, there's a lot of anxiety, paranoia, sleeplessness, worry. All of those things are part of the swords. And you can see in the 5, she's collecting the swords. Everyone else is leaving. Her spirit guides are way over here, but she's ready for a battle. For no apparent reason. So this again is one of those sort of, little anxiety, paranoia perhaps. And we were drawing with the intention of your writing career next year. So I feel like this Queen of Swords and the 5 of Swords is again telling you to trust your friends with your ideas. Don't get nervous that somebody's going to walk off with your idea. They're not.
So like my shrink says, it's all in my head?
So when that happens and you get those feelings, that's when you have to remind yourself, it's just air. It's just in my head, okay?
What about genres? I've got Jessica coming back for at least one more story in 2022, but after that, I'm kind of keeping the wide side of the field, and I might want to switch. What do the cards say about stuff like that?
Oh, next up is the Lovers, which is major arcana. And the thing about the Lovers card is that it can be literal. So it could be that you write a love story in 2022. But what it generally means, this is major arcana, so it's an event, and it's about finding a really healthy partnership where you both work to protect something. So you see there's a heart down here with a glowing sword. That is this couple, the Lovers, not only respect each other, but they're protecting, they recognize the importance of what they're working on together. I feel like this is perhaps going to be that you finally find the perfect editor or the perfect publishing partner or something like that in 2022. You're really going to find somebody who takes you to the next level, who believes in your story and wants to push it as hard as you do. So you won't be doing it alone in 2022.
Now that's interesting, because I have been talking with several people about collaborations in the new year. Right? You're not going to be the queen all alone on the throne in 2022. You're going to find a really great partner to work with to get this done. Lisa Kessler's website has a page devoted to her metaphysical self. Click on Metaphysical Me in the navigation tab, and you can find a link to that page to schedule your own personal tarot reading with our special guest. She's telling me what's in the cards for my pursuit of the craft this week on Authors on the Air. I've learned that there may be a collaboration in my future. Let's see what the next card tells us.
And then you got the Queen of Cups. So like the Queen of Swords, this is your female energy. So this is nurturing, taking care of others. But Cups is your emotions and your heart. So this one, you can see the ships are passing her by there in the background, and she's looking at this cup. So it's like she has love, but she's not participating in it. Ships are passing her by. There's her spirit guide going, hello, hello. But we drew with the intention of your publishing in 2022. This is calling you to remember to be active when you're doing it. Remember that you love it. Don't just do it because you're a published author. Don't hold that cup and go, I have to get this book out because I'm a published author and book number 4 is due. Remember to get in the water and love that story and write something that you love. And because readers can tell, but this card is just, we were pulling with the intention of next year. So I feel like next year, perhaps you're going to set up these deadlines for yourself, and you're going to be so honed in on those deadlines, you're going to forget to love it.
See, that's interesting to me because you are so prolific. You turn out so much good stuff that I sometimes wonder if it turns into more of a machine than a joy for you. Obviously, you love what you do, and that's manifested in the books that you write.
Yes, I try really hard to remind myself that I get to write, not I have to write. That one little tiny word makes a huge difference in your attitude. Oh, I get to write this scene instead of I have to write this scene. And we all do that occasionally, but next year you're probably going to have some big goals, and be sure that you are actively participating in it. And this really goes with that Knight of Cups. If you make a plan for yourself, you're not going to end up, just going by rote. You're going to be writing something that you love, and you're going to have a plan to get it all done. Does that make sense?
This is fun. You really have a good sense for interpreting what these cards mean for different individuals.
Oh, thank you. I've been doing it for a long time, but I'm really not, it's funny because I'm really like the least woo-woo person ever. But I don't know how it works. I just know it always does. The number one rule is you always get the card you need. And I don't know why, but so I try not to question it. There are days sometimes where I'll be looking at my cards and going, this is so silly. It's just pictures printed on cardboard. And then I will pull something and go, so you always get the card you need. Ray Bradbury used to say there's a superconscious that wants stories told, and it works with music. There's songs where everybody's suing each other because it was the same melody line. It's like the universe has, a tune or a melody or a story, and it wants it told, and it downloads it. And if you're tapped in and you get it, you write that story, and so as a creator, you already are using your intuition. You just don't realize that that's what you're doing. That's how that character came to you that you write for your thrillers. She came to you because you were open that day when the universe was like, this needs to get told.
May we all tell many stories in 2022. Lisa, thanks for that card reading. How can people get in touch with you?
They can contact me through my website. There's a tab called Metaphysical Me. And if you click on that, there's a link to sign up to get a reading. Also, at the end of the year, I won't start doing them until December. But in December and January, I am very busy those 2 months because people come every year, once a year. But they're called year ahead readings. And those are with oracle cards, and you get 12 cards, one for each month of the year, so that you know each month what you're going to focus on for that month. It is an amazing, miraculous, wonderful growth, and people come back every year, so I know it works, not just for me. I do it for me too. but it's a great way to head into the new year and feel like that you're following your path, that you're on the right path. You are not lost. You were made for this moment and you are ready. So in December and January, hit me up for those because I'm always busy those 2 months, but they're exciting and fun, 30 minutes, and you'll have a whole plan for your year. So it's very cool.